For the last 2 weeks, I've been throwing Prodigy discs, and over these last few weeks, and honestly a little bit before it, I guess for the off season, as much as that means nothing for anybody who's not a top pro, I've been working on some backhand form changes. And before this 30-day Prodigy series, I was throwing my regular bag, and then when I got all the Prodigy discs in was when I started doing something a little different, for me at least. And that would be doing this little thing I like to call throwing flat. Now, to a lot of people out there, you're like, Rod, that's not hard. That's like the easiest shot, you know, you throw it flat. But for 16 years, the amount of time I've been playing this amazing game of Frisbee Frolfs, I've pretty much been a hyzer flip guy. And the hyzer flip shot for years and years and years, I loved. I made it work on like as many different shots and lines as possible, but over the last year or so I've really wanted to learn how to throw flat, or even throw like that, you know, that little left to right pullover shot that you've probably seen me work on quite a bit. Real quick, I'm going to show you just my normal form, maybe before form changes. As you can see, comes out on a pretty steep hyzer when I do the tech disc. Usually it's like around 20, give or take 5 degrees of hyzer, which seems like a lot, but I don't really know. But anyways, when I started changing my form or like tweaking things, the biggest thing I wanted to change was kind of like my drawback, and I guess just where, you know, my swing plane was within a throw. And when I got these Prodigy discs, I kind of asked myself the question, hey, I'm throwing all discs that I have literally no idea how they're gonna fly. This might be a great time to work on that flat release. And so for the time that I've been throwing these Prodigy discs, about 2 weeks now, a lot of you guys, maybe you didn't notice, and maybe a lot of you are new here, but I've been doing the best I could to throw everything flat. And now when I watch these videos back, obviously editing them, I feel like it looks a little weird. So that's kind of the example of a flat release, I guess. As flat as, you know, it gets for me. And there's a couple things I notice is like my footwork feels less smooth. It feels like hoppier in a weird way. I don't even know if that explains it, but it doesn't feel smooth. It feels like I'm like thinking like pick your feet up in the middle of the throw. That's what I'm thinking about. And then another thing is I'm really trying to keep my torso up high. I think that's something I've always struggled with. When I do my normal throw, it's pretty like down into that hip point. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not a disc golf coach. One thing I can tell is when I have that flatter release and I stand up a little bit straighter, it definitely comes out flat, but it feels like there's less, I don't have to put as much torque into the disc to get it to do the same things I was having to do in order to make the hyzer flip shot work on almost every single line I wanted to throw. Okay, so I guess that brings us to today's video. We're out here at Nsra. We're gonna just be playing around a disc golf. The goal today is to try and incorporate that upper body work that I feel like has improved a lot of my shot shaping, but then mix that with my traditional form that I've kind of abandoned for the last couple weeks, and see if I can find somewhat of a middle ground, okay? Obviously for this, we're gonna be doing it while throwing all of these new Prodigy Frisbees, and I'll continue to talk about, you know, kind of, I guess, my thoughts on the Prodigy stuff so far. We're about midway through this 30-day series. Isn't that kind of crazy? I feel like this thing just started, and then now it's like half over. And then it's just gonna be a lot of tossing and a lot of talking. Let's get right into it. D2 and a D1, we'll go 2 off the top. Felt decent. Oh, felt solid. That'll play.
There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport.
Something I always find a little bit tricky, I guess, about like the off season in disc golf is that most of us, you know, unless you're like in Florida, Arizona, California, the South, but maybe not right now because they got a bunch of snow, you usually don't get to play in weather that is like representative of, you know, summer, spring, fall disc golf. Your body feels good. It's usually cold. It's usually wet. And it always feels like I get worse in the winter, which I think a lot of people do. But then at the same time of getting worse, you're trying to fix things. And then in a way, It's like, are you really doing anything? Because your disc golf game just in the winter, I don't think represents your disc golf game in the summer. It's always this weird like mental thing with me. Going 500 plastic M2. If you saw my last video, you'd know. I think I'm figuring this thing out and I'm enjoying it. Oh. A little short, but that's a putt. Got to get a couple warm-ups in. Oh gosh, even if they're from 5 feet, I feel like you gotta feel the frisbee come out of your hand before you make your first putt. Come on. I need to stop caging putts. It's been my miss lately. The putt looks, feels great. I aim really low. I aim to make them like right there, which I think I need to change that. You wanna know something hilarious? And I've talked about this in tons of videos. I just now realized this hole's 297 feet. I never look at tee signs. Even courses I play all the time, I just eyeball them. In my mind, I would have told you this was like a 220 footer. It's 300 feet. No wonder I come up short every time. We're gonna go PA2. Oh, and I frickin' aced it. So something I've always been really bad at with form, or just throwing, is opening up my front leg early. And earlier I was doing like some shadow swings in the house before I left, and I was like, dude, you gotta start like leading with your heel. So when you plant, you know, when you look at the best throwers, they're planting with their foot, you know, either equal or back. And I don't. Not saying I'm one of the best throwers, but I just know if I can stay close, you get better rotation, all that good stuff. And that one just felt really nice. 400G Kale Series M4. Okay, I just aced it again. Wow, that feels nice. Let's walk and talk. In the past, and I feel like I've said it before, but I try to steer clear of watching form work content videos. But lately, there's been no good disc golf content. So I've been going back, watching some old form stuff, like, I don't even know what videos, just to let shit play. Some of the stuff my ears pick up and think, huh, I should try that. And obviously when you're throwing a backhand, you want to create lag. You know, I think that's a big thing. And by waiting for that heel to drop before pulling through, that obviously creates a good brace, the lag, all that good stuff. And on those two throws, I really felt it. And one of the things, I think as a content creator, sometimes it's tricky to do drastic form changes, even if they might be needed, because of one thing, plain and simple, is you don't want to film content when you suck at disc golf, because then you get roasted in the comments for sucking at disc golf. And I knew that my normal throw, I know how to work these hyzer flips, so I'm like, I don't want to change it because I know how to throw the discs like that, it works. But I know to get actually better at disc golf, I need to do some changes. And that's kind of where we're at right now, is I'm trying to do some of these changes and maybe worry a little bit less of getting worse. But at the same time, I know if I incorporate them fast and just put the work in, I'm usually pretty good at athletic things and picking them up relatively fast. I'm just a little stubborn. Did I actually just cage first 2 holes? Man, that's another thing I need to start doing, is aiming higher. I literally set it on hole 1 and then I continue to pick the freaking chain link right there. Anyways, I think you kind of get the point. What I'm trying to say here is I don't want to suck, because I have to film myself playing disc golf 5 times a week, but I want to get better at disc golf. It's a little tricky right now. But those 2 throws right there, honestly, where I really just exaggerated the lag and the heel plant, really felt good. I'm gonna try and continue that today. We got a feedback here. This is a new one I got sent. It actually has Kevin Jones' signature right there. It's almost wiped off, but this one's a little flatter, so it feels a little better than the one I was previously throwing a little bit. Oh, baby. Okay, so that's beefier than I thought it was gonna be. Get down. I'm feeling that lag. And it's been a little while since I felt that. One of the main reasons I started working with that kind of flat across the chest form was basically because I just felt like all winter I had no power. Like I couldn't even throw 400 feet. And I was kind of hoping that if I incorporated some other things and then like incorporated them into my traditional throw, you know, we'd get better. And this is the first day I'm trying to mesh the two. But I don't think I've ever played this hole and not had somebody walking down the fairway right in the middle of it. It's whatever, kind of makes me slow down and just kind of relax out here. Otherwise I tend to just like run through the course and film and play really fast, which is never good. And it is so beautiful out here today. This is the best day we've had in a while. I think one of the tricky things as well is playing in the Pacific Northwest all winter. More often than not, it's wet out. It's either raining or had just rained. And the footing is always a little sketchy, especially for me. I've had 5 knee surgeries, so my legs and my hips are always a little timid. I think they like overprotect themselves. So when I go to the plant portion of the throw, a lot of times I think my body doesn't let me fully get into it because it's like subconsciously telling itself to like protect itself. Not bad, not bad. Obviously this video is going to be a lot of just me talking about my thoughts and walking you guys through them, but let me know, what do you think about the concept of like, hey, I want to make a drastic form change, I really want to improve. Do you think it maybe is smart to like completely wipe your bag and just start fresh? Because in my mind, my traditional bag, which is basically like Buzz, Buzz SS, Ultra, Eagle, Firebird, lineup of destroyers, and then like a control driver slot, and like that's almost it. Maybe so a flippy straight throwing putter. Everything's dialed for that hyzer flip release, and I feel like you never will trust those discs you've dialed in on a different release when you're trying to make like a form change like that. Let me know your thoughts on that. Big old forehand. I don't think I'll get it into a putt, but I just want to get it for the easy 4. Oh, I almost pushed that too far into the trees, but we should be good. Now that I'm up here, I kind of realize I definitely could have gave this a little more and had a look. Oh, we're playing the old reposition lie rule again, guys. 400 Ultra Soft PA5 spinner. Oh, that's a beauty. 400 plastic M1. Just a beautiful little hyzer shot. This thing, it's been interesting. It's straighter than the M2, more stable than the M4, maybe similar to the Archive, but a completely different hand feel. We're still working it out. Oh, that's so straight. Okay, I threw it perfect, thought it'd fade. It didn't, but man, that felt nice. M4, 400G M4, second shot. A little bit of a hyzer release. No height. It's weird. It's almost like when I try and hit that hyzer and I try and exaggerate the foot, my body, maybe I don't have the mobility right now. Wouldn't surprise me. Hips don't feel great ever. But it's almost like I can't get that swing through on the hyzer when I'm actually closed off on the front. All right, so we actually must have hit, sat, because if the disc goes any further than right here, it's pretty much gonzo. Oh, yes. We even have a real stretched out shot. Come on. Some of you are probably familiar with the Beat the Leader series out here, and as you can tell, basically in order to shoot that scorcher, every hole I've played so far, birdieable, without a doubt. It all comes down to just like either making the putt or putting them a little bit closer. It can be such a simple course out here at Nsra, but simple and just scrapping for, you know, a par are so close out on this course. Hole number 5, 305 feet, dead straight. Once again, throw a hyzer at it, throw straight at it. It don't matter. Just put it close. We're gonna go M1 again. I'm really liking this one. One more direct line. Will it get there though? No, that's so short. Man, I do feel like I'm getting more closed, but I'm not getting a full throw through. I feel like I'm releasing low and not swinging them as wide as I want to get them. So you could probably see that, like that shot was fine, but it wasn't what I was trying to do. So when I throw, I plant and I throw and then I rotate. It's like my body doesn't allow itself to actually like rotate on the heel while I'm throwing. And I think that goes back to, once again, my knees and my hips like protecting themselves. I don't know, we're gonna try one more. Felt decent, but it just didn't do anything. Seeing that's so much easier to like get the disc to actually, like my height control's better, all of that. But I don't know, maybe I just need to make the total form change, kind of abandon what I used to do, because I feel like that low left miss is constantly a miss I've been having because I'm not getting that full rotation. But I want to really get to where that heel plant and the like lag and coil is really good. I don't know, we're gonna keep working on it. Come on. Dang it. Starting 0 for 5 at Nsra is like the worst thing you could ever possibly do. The starting 5 are too easy. Reposition lie rule, guys. Hole 9, 221, we're going A4. Just a nice little push hyzer. Should be pretty simple. PA2 as well. You may be wondering, Brad, how the hell did you get to hole 9? Well, hole 6, as a lot of you guys may know, is basically underwater. You have to literally just sacrifice your shoes to play hole 6. And usually when you're here, you just do it. Today, just didn't feel like it. You know what I mean? So I decided I'm gonna walk 14's fairway, which goes right along 6, and go down, play hole 8. Well, you get to hole 8, there's a family basically having a picnic on the tee pad. You know, nice dry surface in a otherwise pretty wet, sloppy park. Makes sense, but rather than disturbing them, I figured we'll skip to hole 9. And now we're here. And I came up a little shorter than I thought. We can make a putt. Oh, if that would have not stayed in. All right, we are through 6 holes technically now. We got 1 birdie. It's always interesting when you play around a disc golf and you're working on form things, because I don't know about you guys, but when I play disc golf, I don't know if I can say expecting, but I am trying to birdie every single hole I play. There's not a single hole, unless it's like the dumbest play ever, you know? If it makes sense to try and birdie it, I am trying to birdie it. And so when you don't, on a whole bunch of them, get a little disappointed. Hole number 10, 325 feet, dead straight, but the play is like a flex line out there, dump it back towards the basket. If any hole's like my nemesis hole out here, it's this one. Just like, I've been getting a couple birdies lately, but it's the longest 324, I swear, ever. But we're on FX2 and trying to hit it on that flex line, which is a good test for today. Can I stay closed while hitting a, you know, chest high flex shot? We'll see. Oh, I actually smoked it. That's so good. That might go in the hole. Result, good. As you can see, I kind of fell over the shot a little bit. I don't know if that's good or bad. I have mixed feelings on, like, I always want my form to look nice. Like, that is the goal. I feel like nice looking form is usually good form, but at the same time, like, the results are actually what matters. Tricky. I'm gonna go feedback as well. Oh, that's actually pretty good as well. Neither one though, I got up high. So it's like I missed what I actually wanted to do, but I put enough smack in them that they worked. Well, if you know Nsra, this is literally the best possible outcome on this hole. But like I said, it's not really the shot shape / line I was trying to do. So it's like, I want to throw the shot I was trying to throw, even if it parks the hole. I feel like a weird thing with disc golf is most holes are able to be parked in a unlimited amount of ways. You could take 15 different discs, throw them all different ways, park the hole, and none of the shots could look the same. So they're all technically good. Whereas I feel like in other sports, maybe there's a little less like margin on that. I don't know, I could be wrong and just not looking at it the right way, but disc golf's weird like that. For fun, I'm gonna go side hand feedback. This is mainly a backhand round, but this hole's perfect. 350, basket's in the woods on the right. Swing it around. Gosh, that flat one comes out so much cleaner. Oh, that's money. Man, feedback's good. Now for the real shot. M4, left to right turnover. Once again, can I stay closed and actually get my body up and over and around? Too stable of an M4. I'm not sure how that shot looked necessarily, but I did not turn it enough. Ooh. Yeah. Still too stable of an M4 though. I got like 5 or 6 M4s right now I'm all kind of working with, and the 2 that I have in my bag right now I think are the most stable ones, whereas the 2 white ones, the 10-year and the stock 500, a little more natural turn out of them. Oh. I don't know. I don't know what to think. You know, relative to distance, this M4 shot might be the worst shot I've ever thrown on this hole. Oh, the glide on the PA5, I think is nuts. Do I get to take my feedback though? That one's parked. Feedback, bird dogs. This feedback's nice. Par. Hole 12, 356. Little side hand sling with the feedback again, just because this thing is nice. Gosh, that is a good disc. Oh, man. Onto the backhand though, F1. Basically the shot we're trying to shape here is a slight left to right drag. Kind of release it at the tree and get it to drag just right and kind of push to flat. Huh. I mean, I like yanked it over and everything felt good until I actually planted, and I feel like my body restricted itself. Gonna see how this F2 flies on more of a push hyzer line. Just not giving it the height. And then if I just do kind of what I've been doing, which doesn't feel like, it feels like it looks ugly and all that, but look at the results. Like, I just slid it under the basket. I don't know. It's weird. It's hard for me to like let myself completely abandon something I've been doing for so long. I feel like it has worked pretty well, but this new flat release, I'll just call it, seemed like breakthroughs in like that shot's easier to throw. It takes less effort, less torque into the body. It really just feels like a very effortless shot. One more, just for good measure. We're gonna go FX4 on the hyzer push line. Try and stand tall. See how easy that is? And I feel like maybe to some of you, it doesn't even look any different. Like it just looks the same, I don't know. But I think people that are able to like break down form or recognize good and bad might be able to just see that those last two throws are just so much easier, so much simpler. I don't know, maybe I'm trying too hard to get results that I can get with a much easier throw. I'm gonna try one more mid-range shot. Really nice, kind of flat, probably hang it like at the tree and have to get it to kind of drift a little to the right. I mean, disc golf's easy when you just throw flat. I don't know, the results speak for themselves. I'm just kind of stubborn, I think. Actually, this video is a little bit different than the rest of the series so far, whereas this is maybe a little less about the Prodigy discs like directly. We're still obviously out here testing them all and continuing to learn them, but it's a little more of like, what have I actually been thinking about myself over the last 2 weeks that I haven't really shared much of as we've been going, because obviously the main focus is just more of these frisbees, but figured I'd share some of this. If you're new here, I do a lot of this where I just talk way too much while I play disc golf. Totally forgot to putt from my, I think it was the F1 I threw first, but we'll just give you this beautiful view and putt from the FX2. Hole 13, 337, but I swear it plays so much further than 337. But we're gonna throw the M1. Now, I'm anticipating this maybe coming up short, but I wanna really give this some height and just see how it flies. Over the last couple of videos, you probably saw in the last video how like I was starting to shift my gears towards the M1 and the M2. I almost think I like the M1 and the M2 better than the Archive. Maybe that's not that surprising, but based on the hand feel, usually I think I'd be more of an Archive guy. But it's been nice. We're gonna give this a shot. That was a beautiful line. I probably am short, we'll see. Obviously with that standing up taller, I feel like it lets my upper body be a little more free. The shots feel very just easy and controlled, honestly. But I also completely abandon whatever my feet are doing. I'm just kind of hopping up there. I don't know, things take time, obviously. I'm gonna try and do like keep it tall, but still keep that foot closed. See, and even just that, like, is that something I even need to fix? Because it feels like I just leak the shot early. Guys, I thought the M1 would have at least got like to Circle's edge. Nah, we're literally Circle 2's edge. PA5, spinner. Oh, that was such a nice line if I didn't hit that branch. Forgot I had this. 400G D3. Now, I don't really know what this thing does. I don't know if the D3s are like flippy or if they're more just like a bomber. Definitely a low parting line. Hole 14, 465. You know the deal. Really hard. Oh, no, get stable. Hit the tree, please, 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 please. Oh, I hope that stayed up there. Thankfully, we hit this tree. Otherwise, that thing was probably gonna find a new home and it would not be with me. We got the A4 in hand. Side hand sling it up there. Little straight on that. So I'm actually like under this tree. Oh, come on. I should have gone reposition lie rule. Hole 15, 323. Usually I'm throwing an eagle on this hole. We're gonna go F1. Try and make it simple. It's really just a hyzer, so. Should work. Yeah, parked. I'm gonna try this F2. with more of that compact hyzer release. See how it plays. It's so weird. Obviously that wasn't a good shot, but I just feel like I have to put so much effort into it to get it to go the same distance. One of the biggest things I recognize with, you know, my old form versus like my new form is that the low release, the low miss. I've always thought of the low miss as like, if I'm gonna miss, I'd rather it be low, because a lot of people have the nose up issue, and I have never had a nose up issue, lucky enough. And I'm always like, well, I'll take the opposite. Like, you know, turfing one every once in a while is probably not the worst thing. But sometimes it's just like, what are you doing? All you gotta do is throw it in the air. And I'm kind of like limiting myself, limiting my shot selection. I think another thing that's interesting with I guess the whole like idea behind why I even wanted to film this video is like, you know, if you're changing your form, should you change your discs? And I'm the type of guy who has like a connection with a lot of his discs. And I've thrown a lot of the same molds for quite some time. And I guess for me, it's hard to be like, okay, I have all these discs that I think fly really good on a hyzer flip, and maybe I won't be able to throw them anymore. And I don't like the idea of that. So I don't know. Since I started this Prodigy series, something I haven't done much of is throw distance drivers side hand. Mainly because most of the Prodigy distance drivers, they have that, more of that like angled rim configuration, I guess, rather than like a streamlined feel to them. And I just don't like how they feel in my forehand grip. But we're gonna try this 400G D3 and see how it flies. So, hole 16, it's like a 650 foot par 4. Pretty much just put something out there. Oh, that was nice. That was a smack. Then we'll throw the feedback. See what kind of distance this gets compared to the D3. Oh. Nice shot. And then that brings us to the backhand. We're gonna go D2 and try and just absolutely obliterate one here. Oh yeah. Push out. Yeah, that's a good shot. Usually I go backhand on this hole for the upshot. It's usually just like a control driver, FX2. The forehand plays as well, but most of the time there's gonna be even the slightest little left to right coming through the valley here. And then with the left to right, I don't like letting it get under my forehand and kind of pushing it right. I'd rather fight it with the backhand. So we're gonna throw one of each. FX2. Parked. We'll see if we can get the forehand solid. Okay, I like it, but we'll see if the wind pushes it at all. Nah, that's fine. You know, some days it works, but I think the backhand for the most part is going to be a little safer. Hole 17, 415, one of my favorite holes on the course. We're gonna go FX4. You really gotta push this one deep left and get it to start turning late and kind of crash down to the right. If you don't know where the basket is on this one, it's pretty much like down this tree line, but way down there into the woods. Love it if it keeps pushing. Come on, get through. Ah, we're in like you have a 50 footer, but you probably ain't got nothing. Oh, yo, that might be like one of the best forehand. No, that's a good disc. So I feel like I haven't had a good like forehand finesse distance driver, like one that you don't need to smack it, but it doesn't burn over. Like it has that perfect amount of stability where you kind of tip it up. Usually it would be like a Star Wraith, But the one I have, I think, is a little squirrely. Doesn't quite have the stability I need out of it. And that thing, man, if I wanted to hit those branches, one, it would have been tracking 415 to the pin, a little downhill, so it's not quite like that far. But man, that was just clean. It comes out of the hand nice too. It's a little bit lower parting line distance driver than I'm used to, but I think it's really coming out smooth. So I'm enjoying that Frisbee so far. Actually a little shorter than I even thought. This is even more just in the layup zone. This is probably one of the trickiest layups you're gonna get. Yeah, if you swing it over to that right side, give yourself a 15 footer. It's a lot smarter than trying to get to this pin. Hole 18, 400 feet, dead straight. We're gonna try the forehand D1, little bit of flex, full smacker. Probably gonna be a touch short, but right on the pin. But I got a 35 footer short. Not bad. Hope you enjoyed this one. A little bit different vibe than we've been bringing for most of this Prodigy series, but I'm at the point right now, we're about halfway through, and I'm actually really enjoying learning all these discs. And although I still need to do all the series videos, which will be coming, I'm kind of just really, I just want to get out here and play rounds with these. And obviously this form thing was a little bit on my mind today, and I kind of wanted to work through that, and I figured why not just make a video about it. But I don't know, I'm enjoying this so far. It's been nice to just get like a fresh start on some fresh discs and just kind of learn them. And I don't know, I'd recommend if you're able to get your hands on a big batch of new discs ever, maybe ones you have no prior experience with. What the hell am I trying to say here? Try them out. It might change some things for you, I don't know. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed that one. We're gonna try and make this putt. Came up a little bit short, yeah, 35 footer. You know, I've actually never thrown a forehand on this hole because I usually just don't think I can get it there. But now that I've got it almost here with like a pretty beefy D1, it kind of seems easier than I thought. And we made the putt. Twice because I'm good at disc golf. Yep. Oh, that feels good. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Creator of Frisbee Club, motherfuckers.
The man, the myth.
And right here, I have a Frisbee bag. It holds all my Frisbees, the ones I like.